is a journey connecting the music with the people that inspire us. You're listening to the Sounds of Success podcast with your host, Jim Lombardo. Brought to you by the Rising Tide Foundation. Let's jump right in.
Alfonso, it's good to be back in the studio, my friend.
I couldn't agree more.
For those who don't know, Alfonso is our producer. He keeps the tapes rolling and he keeps us on track. Alfonso, what are you doing there? Are you drinking wine at 9 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, it's wine o'clock somewhere, Jim.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm just preparing for our guest.
That sounds good, because today we have the founder of a California wine company. She's fiercely competitive and loved Tootsie Rolls as a kid.
I love Tootsie Rolls.
All right. Well, listen, you can drink your wine and you can eat your Tootsie Rolls later, because in the studio today we have Erin Reddan, the founder of ECR Vintners. Erin, welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having me. And I do support any wine any time of day. So
really, 9 a.m.
Open that bottle. 9 a.m. Honestly, yeah, it's sometimes better in the morning. I do a lot of my blendings first thing at like 10 a.m. when you're making the wine. So that fresh palate.
Well, that supports you then, Alfonso. So I guess I shouldn't dock your pay for drinking so early in the morning.
Okay, Jim, we're going to need a sound check.
So, Erin, to do the sound check, we're going to reveal a song that we think captures you, your nature, and personality. Are you ready?
All right. I am ready.
Are you sure? Because this one went deep. Okay, Erin, I'm going to take you back to 1994. The fifth track off the Beastie Boys album, Ill Communication, with the song, Alfonso, Root Down.
Do I know that song? Man,
I don't know. Only you can answer
Let's see.
that. I can't play it because we'll end up in jail if I play the song, because we don't have the rights to it. So Erin, Root Down, an unknown song to you.
Yep.
Did we nail it or did we fail it? I think I know the answer to this.
I trust your judgment. So
wow.
Sing for me a couple of words.
That's not going to happen, Erin. That's not going to happen.
Okay.
I really don't think I would do the Beastie Boys justice. I don't have I don't have a scratch machine. I don't have any of that. So it would be tough. It would be tough for me.
Okay.
So
I think it's a great song.
You think it's a great song? Unfortunately, it's an unknown song.
We got to check the mics anyway.
Perfect. Erin, we're going to check the mics with a simple question. In a single sentence, how would you describe your current role at ECR Vintners?
Yeah, I am the founder of ECR Vintners, where I produce small batch wines from top California vineyards, and they're really thoughtfully crafted for women's palates and modern lifestyles. And part of that is also hosting wine events to make wine more approachable, foster connection, and really inspire confidence and joy.
Excellent. Alfonso, how was that? Are we ready to record?
We're sounding great. We're ready to record track one, built on the backstory.
Okay, Erin. Your first track is built on the backstory. So let's start from the beginning. Where'd you grow up?
Okay. I grew up at the Jersey Shore, which most people would not guess when they meet me. I mean, living in New York City, not many people are from here. And so it's really funny. I love asking people where they think I'm from. And usually the guess is the Midwest, right? Or California, which both thoughtful guesses, and I'm sure they say something about me, not sure what it is, but no one ever guesses New Jersey. Maybe I don't have an accent. I had an accent when I first went to college, but I think that kind of lost its luster. Yeah.
So I'm thinking there's a lot of Bruce Springsteen.
Yes. Love Bruce.
Yeah.
Love John Bon Jovi.
I was going to see, those were the ones I was going to go with, but I thought that was such low hanging fruit that I just didn't want to go there. I wanted to go something a little bit off the board, but So,
Yep.
so on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your childhood?
Probably a 9 or 10. It was a really fun childhood. I mean, I grew up going to the beach every day in the summer, at least.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. You really can't beat that, can you?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So you noted that you had met people that had only gone to the beach 3 times, and that was a rainy week for you.
Yeah. It's so funny how grew up going to the beach all the time. And then I went to college and I had a friend from Minnesota. She was like, oh no, I've only gone to the beach like 3 times in my whole life. I'm like, oh, that's a rainy week in the summer.
I would think Minnesota's a tough beach town.
Yeah. No oceans near Minnesota.
Yeah, that's tough. I think it's winter 9 months out of the year too.
Yeah. I mean, you get some lakes and some outdoors, but not quite beach.
What about influences?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with 2 brothers. We were all really close in age. All 3 of us were born within less than 5 years. So Godspeed to my parents when we were younger. And honestly, we were all very competitive with each other and just regular sports.
So who's the
on
oldest?
Different teams. I'm the middle child. So I have an older brother and a younger brother.
Okay.
Little middle child syndrome, probably.
So interesting. How is that growing up as the only female in a male-dominated sibling?
Yeah.
household?
I mean, I liked it. It was definitely, as a result, I think we were all very active and rambunctious and just kind of running around the neighborhood on different sports teams. My parents were kind of shuffling us from practice to practice every night. So it was very busy. My childhood was very busy. I mean, I think we used to get home really late at night, have dinner, do homework, go to bed, start all over the next day. So it was definitely a busy childhood.
You definitely talked a lot about how active you were. Were your 2 brothers really active too?
Yeah, we were all in a lot of sports and athletics were kind of ran our lives for quite a while. And both my brothers, my older brother played basketball in college. I ran cross country and track in college. So it kind of stayed with us for a while as well.
So I would imagine your parents were just taxi drivers for you.
Pretty much. Yeah. They spent their weekends going to games and practices, and I don't know how they did it, honestly.
Yeah. That's for 3. I can only speak to my kids that that's a lot of work for 3. So what about as a teenager? What are you thinking about? What are you curious about?
Yeah. I mean, as a teenager, I definitely was really focused on sports. I wanted to run in college. And so this is crazy. My senior year, I used to get up at 4:45 in the morning to I drive to the gym and work out, get to school by 7:15 a.m., go to school all day, have practice after, do homework after. And that was pretty much my life. I wasn't really too concerned with normal teenage things. I tell my dad and really my parents, I'm like, you have no idea how easy you had it having a daughter who just wasn't concerned with boys, wasn't concerned with typical makeup, whatever it is that teenage girls do. I remember one time I would, run around the neighborhood on the weekends and I was just sick of it. So I convinced my dad, this is like a rainy Sunday morning in March. So think of how tired you are from working all week, shuttling us around all Saturday. And I was like, can you drive me to this one park? I really want to run. And he's like, oh, it's rainy Sunday morning. I'm like, come on, Dad. I'm not asking you to drive me to the mall so I can hang out with boys. And he was like, all right, hop in the truck, and drove me, got out, ran, came back as he read the newspaper. And that was that. So I feel like that was my childhood in a nutshell. Yeah.
That's the job of a parent.
Yeah. No, it was good. And, my parents were great. So
you ran in the rain in March when it's 37 degrees.
Yep.
Wow. And you asked your dad to do this, which is even more interesting.
I mean, he sat in the truck and read the newspaper. I, hopped out, hopped back in. Yeah.
That's the intelligent move there.
Yeah,
I think.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. What about jobs? Did you have any jobs growing up with that kind of schedule?
Gosh,
did you have time to work in a job?
I did, yeah. A lot of little jobs here and there. Kind of the more notable one was I worked at this like ocean club near where we grew up. And it was basically like a condo facility where a lot of people from North Jersey and New York would come down, rent condos or own condos. And this is probably the easiest, but also the most insane job anyone could have ever had. I was hired to sit on, well, I'll let you decide. My job, my summer job was to sit on the border of the public beach and the private beach and make sure no one from the public beach came onto the private beach. And I got paid to sit on the beach all day. Is that not wild? So now
anybody crosses the border, what's the job that you have to do?
I'm like, excuse me, can you please move over a little bit? No, I would try to be polite, you know. I mean, I grew up going to that public beach. That's what I went to. So it was like people sometimes I knew. I'm like, hey, can you scoot over a little bit?
Did you get any pushback? Did anybody ever give any pushback on that?
Not really. I mean, people were pretty respectful of it. Everyone was cool. They're at the beach. You're living your best life.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you consider that a good job or a crappy job, in your opinion?
I mean, it was good for the time. You know, I think the hours were like 10 to 5, if that. I was sitting on the beach all day.
That's
and I got paid to do that. So it's pretty good for, you know, teenager, early 20s. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. And to learn the hierarchy of beach economics, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah. And just how people act, you know, it was interesting.
Tell me more about that. Like, what do you mean?
Sometimes on the private beach, people can complain if people were kind of encroaching on the beach. And it was just interesting. Like, you're sitting on the beach all day at your private club and you're complaining about someone being on the beach 6 inches over. You know what I mean? It was like, all right, there are bigger problems in the world. But
I would agree with that one. So I'm looking at Alfonso, and he's halfway through his bag of Tootsie Rolls.
Love it.
But Erin, you have a Tootsie Roll story.
Yeah. So growing up in New Jersey, you can only buy alcohol at a liquor store, right? Wine, beer, liquor. And so in the town that I grew up, it was all like family owned, you know, those kind of liquor stores. And they used to give the kids that came into the store Tootsie Rolls. And so as kids, whenever my dad got home from work, we would like beg him to take us to the Tootsie Roll store, not even thinking that it was like, we're now making our dad go buy alcohol. I mean, he was usually pretty compliant for it, you know. Oh yeah, I should get another case of beer. But yeah, that's like how we grew up. It was called the Tootsie Roll store. And so we associated alcohol with candy and fun and kid friendly, I guess.
Now, is that a gateway? Is that a gateway for all the kids to the Tootsie Roll gateway?
Maybe. I don't know if this happened anywhere else. It was definitely a New Jersey thing because there was another one. It was like a brew through, and they would give pretzel sticks.
Interesting.
Have
you ever gone back and see if they still do it?
No, they don't still do it. It's a new owner. I still go to that liquor store for sure, but it's not the same. Not the same vibe.
I feel like that would be frowned upon now.
Probably. I don't know if any stores do that.
Coax kids into the liquor store with Tootsie Rolls.
There are no rules in the 90s, I guess.
Yeah, right. I agree with that.
Yep.
So, Alfonso, are we ready for track 2?
Track 2, let's do it. Sound of Now.
Excellent. Erin, can you tell us a little bit more about the company? Because I really want to dive into this. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah. And it kind of all started, so years ago, I actually started taking wine classes, learning more about wine, kind of regretted not studying it in college. And while taking classes, I was out drinking with friends in wine bars at restaurants. And I found that a lot of women my age were avoiding California wines because of what they knew it to be, right? When you first start drinking in your early 20s, it's probably really cheap, oaky Chardonnays, right? Really bold reds. Sometimes they're too sweet. And so they kind of just avoided California wine altogether in favor.
I happen to like oaky Chardonnay.
I love a good oak Chardonnay.
Buttery, deliciousness of it. But go ahead.
Same. Yeah, I don't know. The more complex, the better in my mind. But I found, so they're reaching for a lot of European bottles. And this is New York City, so you do have access to a lot of European bottles, especially France, Italy, Spain. And I was like, wait a minute, you guys, there's really good wine in California. And I realized a lot of the more well-known vineyards, producers really were making in that same kind of old school style, like that kind of Chardonnay or really bold Cabernet Sauvignon, which I love all of those as well, but just not approachable to someone that's starting to drink or who wants like a lighter kind of wine for a Tuesday night. So I decided to start a company where I'd make wine in the styles that more women prefer. So higher acidity whites, kind of like lower tannin reds, everyday sparkling. And that's kind of how the company started.
That's really interesting, because I think that the European wine would be more complicated in ordering, in finding, in understanding, than a California, which is the label's very friendly, more so than a European.
Yes, for sure. But the difference really is, so people like learned, like they like Sancerre, right? But most people wouldn't know that Sancerre is a Sauv Blanc. Or they're like, oh, I really like a Chablis, but they don't know that it's a Chardonnay. So I think they just kind of latched on to, I tried this, I can find it most places, and I'm going to stick with this.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So where did the passion for wine come from? Because there's a history here, right? It's not just Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah.
Is that the catalyst? Was the Tootsie Roll the catalyst?
I mean, my parents just drink more casually, but I feel like it was never, I feel like most kids grow up, you're not allowed to drink till you're 21. You're not, with strict rules. And we weren't drinking young, but they would give us tastes of things. And we kind of developed a palate for alcohol. And honestly, I think it was better in that respect, because we didn't go to college and like go crazy or anything.
Right.
It just became more part of everyday life, I would say, and drinking with friends and community. And my parents would host parties, and it became more of like a normal occurrence. And I think that really started my interest in it. And then really living in New York City kind of opened my eyes to, gosh, there's a lot of really good wine out there. You go to wine bars in New York, it is not like wine bars in the suburbs. I love New Jersey where I grew up, but you are not finding a lot of good wine out there. No offense to the Jersey Shore, but New York City and dining and eating out. I was like, oh man, there's some really good wine out there. And that kind of sparked just like learning more, wanting to learn more.
But it wasn't just casual drinking that got you. You have a CV that is, or a resume that is pretty legit. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely worked in wine for a few years now, either in tasting rooms. I teach a lot of wine education classes, which I love. I love the education aspect of it, or really just bringing more people into the fold, right? I think the problem in the industry right now is there's a lot of people that like wine, but they're almost overwhelmed by the options. Like you just said, European bottles, how do you even read those, right? And then they're just like overwhelmed by, I'm at a restaurant, what do I order? My friends these days, they're like, hi, I'm looking for this. Tell me on this menu which one I should get. I'm like, okay.
Right. But you have some education in this space, do you not?
Yeah.
That's where I think I was going. So tell me more about that. What was the trigger that made you say, you know what, I really want to have education on this?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of started, as I mentioned, drinking with friends in wine bars. And then I was like, oh no, this is actually really interesting. And I went to Sonoma with family back in 2015. And that really opened my eyes to, there's like a whole industry. And I really, before that, I thought people own a vineyard, they grow grapes, they make wine on that vineyard. But there's actually a whole industry that most people don't really know about, where some people just farm the grapes and sell them. Most winemakers actually don't own any vineyards. And really, there's kind of a whole industry out in California that I feel like has not been replicated as well, especially in New York, maybe in Oregon a little bit. But there's a whole industry that I really learned about. And when I came back from that trip, I was like, I just got more into it. And I would say about 2 years later, I started taking classes, and I was like, I think I need to learn more about this. I learned enough on my own. I was like, I need some formal education. Yeah.
Did that education stop there, or did you go further?
I kept going. Yeah. So I went through the W set to level 3. And then I took a lot of separate, like one-off classes, production, more information on grape growing, things like that, that kind of just sort of the catalyst of like, I need to learn more and more and more. And I mean, the good and bad thing about wine is there's always something to learn. So,
yeah. How did you find those programs? How did you know about them?
New York City has a lot. We're in the hub of anything, even wine education. And then honestly, there's a lot of classes online. Pre-pandemic, and of course during the pandemic, a lot was online. And then after, yeah.
I'm interested in the quote that you had, and it's how millennial women actually drink and gather. So can you tell us more about how they drink and how they gather? I think that's interesting.
Yeah. So millennial women, if you're just going to compare it to men in general, just two separate genders, men usually drink when they're pairing it with like a steak. Think of like a steakhouse kind of thing, right? You need that bold red so the tannin combined with the protein, you get the better flavor of the steak, right? Millennial women, I found they're drinking not just to enjoy the wine, but for the experience. And the easiest way to describe that is they want to go with their friends to a vineyard, hang out, maybe drink some good wine, learn one or two things, but they're really all about the experience, whether that's traveling to a new place, whether that's just gathering with friends. And really the other part of that, so the experience, as well as the type of foods they're eating. There's that whole idea behind girl dinner. And I agree with that, right? So millennial women aren't at home making full meals every night. Me personally, I'm a millennial woman. I am making God knows what I have in my fridge and pairing that with wine. And the types of wine that go with a girl dinner type of meal are going to be higher acidity whites, kind of lower tannin, higher acidity reds, the kind of wines that they're kind of gravitating towards in that category.
What's the tipping point to go and start ECR?
Yeah, it was during the pandemic. I was like, life's too short. I think in the back of my mind, when I started taking wine classes, I was like, maybe someday I'll own a vineyard. I don't know what I want to do with this. And then during the pandemic, I started to kind of research more. Like, I think I could produce wine. I think I can do this. And in the New York area, it's just not set up for that. Even North Fork, Finger Lakes. So I found a place out in Napa. They help you source the grapes in different vineyards. There's a winemaker that works the facility. And then they also have, which is necessary when you live in a New York City apartment, a distribution center. So you could then bring the cases of wine to the distribution center and it could all be shipped out direct to consumer. So it all happened kind of quickly, honestly.
All right. Erin, hold on, because you're making it sound like it's, it sounds like the renovation shows where it takes like a week to renovate the house, but it actually probably took a year and a half.
Yeah.
So
yeah, fair enough.
How did you find all that? Did you just cold call? Did you have a connection in California? How did that come about?
You're going to love it, actually, as we are sitting and talking on a podcast. I was listening to a podcast. I was doing a little mental health walk during the pandemic. And I listened to a lot of wine podcasts back then. And this podcast was interviewing the owner of the facility that I now produce my wine out of. Yeah.
Interesting.
And it was wild. And I remember being on that walk. I'm like, this is exactly what I've been looking for. And I booked it home, Googled them, and emailed that night. And I think a day or two later, we talked on the phone. It was, kind of wild.
That's pretty crazy. That's, so the upshot of the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you email him, he calls you. And at that point, what is he explaining to you? I'm really curious about the whole end to end and ending up in either a consumer's hand from start to finish. I know that's a lot, but...
Yeah. And so really this facility, they have a lot of relationships with growers, right? And which is what you need.
Is it a middleman, if you will?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, yes. I mean, so in California industry, you have a lot of growers and often they'll make their own wine. And then part of that is maybe they have so many acres, they're selling some of their grapes as well.
Okay.
So it's a weird industry, but it has many different facets to it, I guess you'd say. And so when you have some of these growers that are willing to sell grapes, they'll sell them to people they have these relationships with. So if I were to cold call X vineyard, they'd probably be like, who are you? Right. Fair enough. And so the wine foundry, they have these relationships with the growers, and as a result, have access to these types of grapes from this vineyard, these other types of grapes from this other vineyard. And then you can then work with them on whichever kind of style you're looking for. And so really the whole point of the company was to then make make wine in styles that more women preferred. So I was able to then choose vineyards and grape varietals that are going to naturally produce a higher acidity white, a cooler region, white. Same thing with, I have a Pinot Noir from Santa Barbara. That was a very cool region. That vineyard is like 4 miles from the ocean. So you're able to one good thing about not owning a vineyard, you can then one, spread out the risk, right? And then two, kind of choose based on the kind of style of wine you're going for.
How much production are you actually making, like at one time?
It depends on the year. So I started out with 2 barrels, basically. And 1 barrel is about 288 to 300 bottles, to give you an idea. So not a lot. I mean, a lot for if you were just to have it in your apartment, right?
Right.
But not a lot. And then 2023 was a big year because then I had 4 wines out from that year that are just starting.
Okay, 23, you had 4 different varietals. Interesting.
Yep.
Okay. So what were they?
A red blend that just came out this fall. So it's a blend of Syrah, Grenache, Mourvèdre. Nice. A Trousseau Gris, which is a white. It's a really fun one. There's only 1 vineyard in the US that grows it, and I'm like obsessed with it. And then I have a Blanc de Blanc champagne method made from Chardonnay, and that will be out very soon. And then I had a Syrah that won't be out yet until probably next year, another Trousseau Gris, and then sparkling rosé was the 24. So I have 2 sparklings out now. Okay.
So New York City apartment, you're certainly not taking 300 bottles into the home. So talk to me about that last mile. So they've produced, you've picked, they're crushing, they're bottling, and private labeling for you.
Yep. And then it moves to a warehouse that they then ship it for me.
Who's
so I pay a monthly fee.
Same people?
Same people? Okay. Yeah, a separate shipping arm of it. But yeah. And so and they do that for a lot of different producers, right? A lot of people in the Napa Sonoma area, they don't have a ton of temperature controlled large spaces, right? To hold cases of wine. And so this one facility actually ships it for you via FedEx. So I can sell it all direct to consumer.
Very cool. So you're selling it in what fashion?
Yeah. So all direct to consumer. So you can order it to your home. I do a lot of events where then businesses will buy the wine, hire me to then come and pour it, to do wine tastings, things like that. So
it's not just wine production, which is super, super cool. But you have events as well. Yeah, I love the events. It kind of all started naturally. Someone was like, hey, do you do wine tastings? I'm like, I have not yet, but let's do it. I hosted some wine tasting, some wine education classes. I teach them separately as well. I work with Murray's Cheese. Have you heard of Murray's Cheese? Oh yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Street? Yeah. So they have wine and cheese classes. And
this kind of is the same thing. You either have it or you don't have it. This drive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the partnership with Murray Cheese, how does that come about?
I think I cold emailed them one day. It wasn't even about classes. I can't even remember what it was. And they looped in the education director and was like, hey, she might be great for wine classes. They contacted me like, hey, do you want to teach classes for us? And I was like, I don't see why not. I love talking about wine. I love teaching wine classes. And so, it kind of happened again, kind of organically in a way. I'm just better the more I work. I know that sounds weird, but I'm an overthinker. And if I don't have enough time to overthink something, it's just better for me.
So are you these classes virtually or in person?
In person. Yeah.
Wow. That's great. That's great. How often do you do that?
Probably a couple times a month, depending on the time of year and just how busy they are. They do a lot of public and private classes as well. So it kind of depends on their need. Yeah.
Are individuals contacting you or are you doing reach out?
It's very organic of someone will come to my event and ask if I do XYZ type of event. And so I do. So it kind of runs the gamut of formal sit-down wine tastings, right? A flight of 3 wines, a flight of 4 wines, whatever people want. It could be, I've done a lot of partnerships with chefs, with people that own charcuterie companies. So like a wine and food pairing. And then it's a lot of informal pouring at events. So instead of hiring a bartender, someone will hire me. And it's a little bit of like light wine education as people are kind of drinking and mingling and things like that. So it kind of is mostly those 3. And I've done a lot of, like brands have hired me to do like the wine pouring just to kind of, I don't know, make the event more of an experience. You know, I've done some fashion events. So you pour at a fashion night out kind of thing. And it just kind of engages people a little more. It gives people something to talk about. You know, wine always lightens the mood, gets people to mingle. Right. So that's helpful. Yeah.
Are you using your wine or someone else's wine?
My wine. Yeah.
Always your wine.
Always. I will, if people want something else, I'm happy to pour. But yeah, it's usually my wine.
Yeah.
And Marie's, no, that's always their wine. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. All right. So talk to me about the first event you had.
First event. It was you're going to laugh. It was a wine tasting for 80 people.
Wow. Okay.
I really went out strong.
Yeah. That's like, just even knowing you from this podcast, that makes sense. It's not, we're not going to flight our way into the business, right? We're just 80 people. So talk to me about the 80 people. Is this, what kind of event is this?
It was a wine club that hired me to do a wine tasting. They do like a monthly wine experience. So they've done a lot where they buy it at wine stores and things like that. And this is a typical life. I met someone in a bar and this is how life goes for me. You're in a bar, you're chatting. And she mentioned, I was talking about my company and just wine in general. She's like, oh, I have a really good friend that's part of a wine club and they do wine tastings all the time. Would you be interested? I'm like, yeah, sure. Put me in touch, thinking I'll probably never hear from this person ever again. Right. They contacted me like 2 days later and they're like, oh yeah, this sounds great. Let's do a wine tasting. I'm like, okay. So we did it. My first 4 wines that were available. We did a wine tasting for 80 people. Wow. Yeah. It was fun.
Okay. So it's interesting. It was fun, but talk to me a little bit about your state when you're doing it for 80 people, because you're coming out of the gate, everything's calm, and then someone comes out of the gate with 80 people. It's not 5 people, which probably would have been a little bit easier.
I mean, it was great. The hardest thing to me about running a wine tasting or any sort of event, especially when it's sit down like that, is classroom management. Teaching a wine education or wine tasting to a large group is like a group of kindergartners, but with alcohol.
Right.
Because now you got people drinking. And so now you're trying to kind of manage where everyone is in their wine tasting, going over this one. Well, this person has to catch up. And then what about this? And Tom said this. So I feel like you really learn quickly classroom management. And now by the end of the flight, people that are a little imbibed. So it is kind of wild to run those. And I give anyone credit that does any sort of wine tastings or events, because it is, how do you make it fun? How do you make it educational? How do you keep everyone engaged? It really is an exhausting experience for the instructor. But I love it. It's fun.
So if you went back, do you think you would have done an 80-person event as your first one?
Yeah. I mean, it was fine. Everything went well. 2 of my aunts helped me pour because they were in town visiting. I was like, come on over.
That's pretty cool. Anything you would have done different?
You know what it is? I always do tasting sheets. I would have written things out a little more because I feel like people had questions, but it was so many people, we couldn't get to them all. And I feel like that would have answered a lot more questions. I mean, I like to talk about it, but...
Questions for each person?
For each wine, too. Yeah, and each person. It's like having, and I realized since then, like the larger groups having more written out, just so they don't have to ask, what was this varietal again? Where was this from? You know what I mean? Yeah. But
so then you'd have to collect all their homework and grade it all.
Yes.
So you really have a class. And now that they've done the homework while they've had a bunch of glasses of wine, so the grading would be harder.
Yes, much harder.
So knowing now the backstory, is that the drive, or do you feel like that's always been in you?
I really feel like it's genetic. So you're either a competitive go-getter or you're just not. And I mean, obviously environment comes into play. I'm the kind of person, just throw me into something and I'll figure it out. Like you could try to teach someone tenacity, competitiveness, but you're either going to figure it out and do whatever it takes to be the best at whatever it is you want to do, or you'll make excuses, you know?
I like that. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, I think we could have a whole podcast on that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. So you're a go-getter and a believer in the competitive edge and the DNA wiring.
Yep.
But let's talk about, and I'm a little nervous about this question because maybe there's none, but let's talk about mistakes or failures.
Yep.
Does anything stand out?
I mean, I definitely fail.
I love when I ask this question and no one has. I mean, I've got a laundry list of mistakes and failures, but every guest has I don't know. Nothing's going on.
Everything is great and dandy. No, I mean, I find that as an entrepreneur, you really have to fail fast. And what I mean by that is if I try something, it doesn't work, I just pivot to the next thing. And I'm more of a gut feeling kind of person, which is good and bad, right? I'm not as analytical as I probably should be at times. But if something feels off or it's not right, I'm out of that situation. I am on to the next thing and figuring out the next thing. But as far as failures, I failed a lot growing up. I mean, I always joke that my parents have done two really good things well. They never put an emphasis on winning or being the best, but they always, no matter what, and I ran in college, I had some awful races, like just plain awful. And they would always say to me, well, we love you anyway. It doesn't matter. We love you no matter what. And at the time I was like, God, you guys, this is horrible. Like I should be cut from the team. This was really bad. They're like, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And looking back on that, I feel like they never put an emphasis on their love or their support being because I achieved something. And as a result, contingent on achievement. And as a result, I was allowed to kind of do whatever I needed to do to achieve something, if that makes sense. And I feel like that's really special and not a lot of parents. I mean, we live in like the participation trophy era. So I feel like that really had an impact on how I, go through failure. If I fail, it has no impact on who I am as a person, I guess. So I don't really think about failures that much, Do
you put yourself out there with no fear of the failure?
I mean, I definitely probably have some fear here and there, but I don't get bogged down by it. For example, right, we talked about with events, people reaching out to me. I've reached out to plenty of people to either no response or like an absolutely, no.
Right,
and,
right.
Sometimes it's like, okay, that just wasn't the right fit. So I fail all the time. I'm not saying I'm not, but I feel like it's in such, I guess, minute ways that it doesn't feel like I've ever had like a huge failure in life.
Yeah. Okay. So that begs the question, are you managing the situation you're in?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not afraid to be bad at something, or to start something new or to try something and I'm just not very good at it. I mean, as an entrepreneur, I do everything, right? I own the company. So I'm social media, PR, copywriting, website, like everything. And so you learn real quick what you're good and bad at and what you need to find help with. Yeah.
Did you build the website on yourself or did you hire external for the website?
I did.
Your website's really nice.
Yeah, thank you. It's a Squarespace. So Squarespace is really helpful.
With all of this and all of this accomplishment, is there anything that you wish someone had told you when you were first starting out?
I guess I didn't realize how lonely it would be. And what I mean by this is I am like sometimes working late at night, midnight, 1 a.m. and you're just like, this is me doing it. And not that it has any play on my everyday life, but it's lonely when you don't have like a co-founder or someone else to kind of bounce ideas off of in that way. Yeah.
Right. I just don't feel like you're having this either. But what about self-doubt? When you were starting out this business, did you have any self-doubt?
Yeah, I mean, I guess self-doubt
seem
always
like
kind
you
of
don't
creeps
seem
in.
to be afflicted by any of this.
People are always like, you seem so confident. I'm like, I mean, maybe outwards. I hope so. And
Yeah.
mostly I am. I think it's not even just confidence. I genuinely don't care if someone doesn't like me or doesn't approve of what I'm doing. Like, I won't lose a minute of sleep over it. And I think maybe that comes off as confidence, or not having self-doubt, but I definitely doubt myself all the time. So
any example that you could think of?
I mean, honestly, I do a lot of PR pitching and things like that. And sometimes I send an email and I'm like, oh God, did I sound crazy? Do I sound like I know what I'm talking about? You don't
have to worry about that because every email I send, I think I sound insane.
Yeah, it's just part of it, I guess. I'm like, did I put too many exclamation points?
Yeah. Right. Okay. Resilience or adaptability?
Ooh.
If you had to pick one, which one is more you?
Oh, I don't know. I would say adaptability, only because I am a Gemini, and I don't know if you know much about astrology. You're probably like, no, I'm normal.
Well, educate me.
Okay. So a Gemini is known for having two personalities, the twin, right? But I find that my best personality trait is I can be adaptable in any room. I can talk to a rock. I can talk to anyone about anything. And I feel like the adaptability has allowed me to kind of pivot in ways that maybe other people haven't been able to.
Where do you think that comes from? The ability to kind of just talk to anybody about anything. I don't think that would be necessarily the wine thing, but is that an upbringing? Where did that come from?
Definitely my mom. My mom was a Navy brat. And so as a result, she moved a lot and had to be adaptable. And I feel like I learned from her when she's in groups of people, rooms of people, she is like the most magnetic person you'll meet. And I joke that my mom is everyone's best friend because she's so adaptable and able to kind of make a stranger feel comfortable in her presence. And I feel like I kind of either I got that genetically or I really learned that from her.
How do you approach personal development while running the business? How do you stay motivated with all this?
Yeah, it's hard some days. I mean, some days are good, some days are really bad. And some of my friends hear the venting, definitely.
Right.
I do say, I'm like, at the end of the day, at least there's wine. That helps.
Right. So you're cracking a bottle while you're doing whatever you're doing at 1 o'clock in the morning for the business.
Oh, often.
Yeah,
yes.
It definitely greases
helps.
the wheels. No doubt about that.
It definitely helps. And when people are like, I don't drink or I don't drink for the month of January, I'm like, I just don't think I could survive at this point. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to stay motivated. I feel I'm a good at like small little goals here and there. Like, okay, let me just get through this in the next hour. And I found that I can kind of motivate from that versus if you look at the big picture, it's overwhelming. So, I have a checklist that sometimes runs like the notes section of my app that just seems like I'm like scrolling, right?
Did you ever get one of your wines and it not be what you expected it to be?
No, but I will say the newest red blend. We did the blending in, what was that, March? And it was bottled shortly after. I tried it in maybe May and I was like, ooh, this isn't what I needed. And the tannin was high. I just needed more time in bottle. And I was like, okay, let me try it again in July. I was like, oh God, needs more time in bottle. And that was more of like, how much time will it need? You don't really know until, and then it was fine by September. But at first I was like, oh no, this might be another year before it's ready. But it was fine.
But that's cool. You don't think that's cool?
No, it's cool. I mean, the nice thing is the more you drink, good and bad, you're able to pick up on things a little better. Like, okay, it's just the tannin is a little higher, Yeah.
Right. And you don't like that because you didn't think it was going to resonate with your audience?
100%. Yep.
Got it. Yep. Did you ever have a mentor that maybe gave you meaningful advice?
Not really. I mean, I've had some really great bosses over the years. But never anyone that was like mentored me in a way. But I've always been kind of like an on my own kind of person. Even with coaches, someone could give me a training plan and I don't need someone to hold my hand.
Right.
whereas I feel like sometimes if you're a running coach, it's part therapist, part training plan. Because, and I feel like I've just never needed that. I don't know if it's because I've just always had to do things on my own. But as far as mentors, no. I mean, it would be helpful, but I just haven't had anyone that's kind of above where I am that I feel like I could like learn a lot from.
So would you be accepting of a mentor, or like would you have to have I'm almost feeling like you need a checklist that says that they're credible.
Yes. I'm a very stubborn person. And so I will not listen to anyone unless I feel like they have something valuable. So to have a mentor, it would have to be like the right person. Yeah.
So, in this industry that you're in, is there anything about it that drives you crazy?
Oh. I have a long list of that.
I kind of figured. I don't usually ask this one, but I had a feeling there'd be some stuff that that annoyed you.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like the snobbery of it. I feel like as a result, and a lot of
Wait a minute. Are you the same person that kicked people off the country club beach? Are you the same person?
But I
don't like
being
the
a snob.
Oh boy. Jeez Louise, man.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you could both in the same sentence.
I've come a far way from that. Yeah, the snobbery of it. It just keeps a lot of people out of the industry. Basically, wine, in order to get into wine, a lot of people feel like you have to know a lot and a lot of the jargon. And I feel like it's been gate kept for kind of a while. And as a result, a lot of people just don't feel like they know enough. And like really all you need to know is what you like and don't like. And you can kind of go from there. But there's so many reports these days in the wine industry of like, millennials and Gen Z aren't drinking. How do we get more people to drink? And it's like, yeah, because you've made it unapproachable. You know what I mean? So that's one part of it. The other thing that I find totally insane about the industry, if you were to look at a kind of a similar industry, basically food and beverage, right? Beverage is so different in that for many, many years, especially even just non-alcoholic beverages, let's just say Coca-Cola or any other canned company, a large part of getting marketing and getting in places was to give free samples. Now with wine, I find that a lot of people just want free wine for sponsorships, for events, and it's just not possible. And an example was I had reached out to someone and asked about doing an event with a chef. And they were like, great, the chef's going to come cook and then you'll donate all the wine. I'm like, no. I was like, I have a question. Is the chef giving you all the food for free? And they were like, no. I'm like, well, then why would I give you all the wine for free? Yeah. And I feel like the industry has been just like conglomerates that are able to do that. So it really hurts the smaller companies because they can't do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think I'm guessing the reason for that is that they're looking for mass distribution in restaurants.
Yeah, yes and no. Even just you'd be shocked at how many random people reach out to me and like, hi, I'm having this event. Can you please give us free wine? No, I'm sorry. What's your name again?
Right.
I think it's just part of the industry. People think of like getting beverage for free. They want like a beverage sponsor, just a couple bottles of wine for free, which I get. But it is something that I'm like, we can't keep doing this, people. Yeah.
What do you think about people in a restaurant who take a long time to sniff the wine and then ultimately send it back?
Ooh, it's funny. I did a class once and they're like, what happens if I don't like it? I'm like, well, the whole point of really you smelling and trying the wine is to make sure there's no faults with it.
Right.
Whether or not you like it is really the job of the som or the restaurant person describing it well. But I've gone out with friends and they're like, we don't like this. I'm like, okay, so you ordered it. Like, are you going to send the dish back because you don't like it as well? Right? Like, yeah. So that's why I'm like, people need to learn a little bit about what they like.
Do you find that people do that when they don't even really know what they're necessarily doing?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
It's just what they think you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about some tough decisions.
Okay.
Have you had to make any really tough decisions in the business?
Yeah. I mean, every day I feel like I'm making tough decisions. Well, it's just more of how much production, who to partner with, when to say yes to events. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of decisions. And as we kind of already talked about, it's me making them. So sometimes I second guess myself. I'm like, ooh, should I have done that? Mostly in the amount of production of wine, a lot of event partnership, being hired for events, things like that.
So anything you would have changed? A path you could have taken, maybe curious how that would have played out?
Nothing comes to mind. I feel like I do a lot of pivoting every day. And so I think I just, make the best decision at the time. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But nothing has been so dire or drastic, at least so far. Or I haven't, had anything crazy happen yet. Knock on wood.
Alfonso, I'm always interested to see how well everyone else is doing.
Yeah, that's your life.
How well everyone else is adjusted to everything. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about where you see yourself personally in the next 5 years.
Okay.
Perfect resume question.
Okay. I love this. Yeah, I really want to focus more on the event side of the business. Obviously, wine production. You need wine production to have the events, but more on the event side of hosting all kinds of events myself. I feel like I've been hired for a lot of events to pour at, do tasting, lots of groups. But I want to kind of manage the actual event side of that and curate my own events from what I've learned people really want, what they care about. It's just a matter of that just takes a lot more time. Event planning is no joke. I have a lot of respect for event planners. Yeah.
What about ECR? Do you see it expanding? Is there more margin in the events?
It depends. I find that events are the best way to get your product in front of people. One, to try it. And then two, it really does help build community in a positive way of people learn about me, learn about the wines. It's hard when you don't have a tasting room or a brick and mortar, right? If you own a vineyard, you have a tasting room, people come in, they buy the wines, they maybe buy a couple, sign up for, wine club, whatever it might be. When you don't have a brick and mortar, I find that events are kind of the next best thing to do. And I just love them. I think they're a lot of fun, especially, different groups of people. It's kind of fun to kind of suss out what people are looking for, what they want to learn, what kind of events they want to do. So yeah, that's kind of the goal in the next few years, to kind of increase more of that.
Okay. How would you define success?
Ooh, God, I feel like it changes every day. Whether it's just getting more sleep, that would be a successful night for me. I mean, as far as business, I would say, well, one, this is just also my side business. I still work in healthcare by day. And so I find to be successful for this to be full-time, that would be big. And then obviously having some sort of a brick and mortar national distribution and a lot more production than what I have now, very small amounts.
Where do you have it? Where's the geographic? Is it in California? Is it in New York?
The brick and mortar?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to have one in New York. Not so much California. California's got enough. Listen, I find California people know wine. Even people that don't know anything about wine, you know more about wine than anyone on the East Coast. I grew up on the East Coast. I can say that. So I find that a lot of East Coast and Midwest, they're missing out on kind of what U.S. wine has to offer. Right. And so I would love to have more brick and mortar, whether it's a tasting room. I really want more of an event space. And anyone can go to a wine bar, anyone can go to a restaurant. But I find if you really want people engaged and experiencing wine, you really need to host curated events to do that.
So the inevitable question is, Erin, are you successful?
Ooh, not yet. I would say that. I'm getting there, but not yet.
Okay. So that if you say not yet, then that goes back into the definition of success.
Yeah.
Right. So what does it take for you to stop, pause, and say, I'm successful?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know that I've ever done that. in anything in life, right? I mean, obviously, when you're done with school, you get a degree. I guess that's considered successful. But as far as business, what would get me to stop and pause is possibly when it's full-time, having some sort of brick and mortar, and having a larger distribution arm of more wine production, really.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, Erin, hang on a second. Alfonso, did you say something?
Yeah, you owe me some liner notes. Let's do some liner notes.
Alfonso's right. Any great album is going to have great liner notes. So this is where your fans are really going to get to know you. Are you ready?
Love it. Let's go.
Okay. Who is the closest person to you? First name only.
Margaret.
Margaret. Mm-hmm. If we ask Margaret to describe your quirks or weird habits, what would she say?
Oh, boy. She'd say I'm very stubborn.
She probably doesn't have any quirks either.
I have a lot of quirks. You know what it is too? I don't even notice them. I live alone. So when people like travel with me or visit me, they're like, oh, wow. Oh, one friend this summer was like, you talk to your
Oh, wow. You do that? Okay, so I want to hear this one. Go ahead.
This summer, I was traveling with a friend in France. She goes, you talk to yourself a lot. I was like, what do you mean? I'm not having like full conversations with myself. She's like, no, when you're about to go somewhere, you're like, okay, let's go. And I was like, I think I'm like motivating myself all the time. I don't realize I do it out loud. So that was a quirk I didn't realize I had. Apparently, before I go somewhere or do something, I like out loud will say something to motivate myself, which is hilarious.
Okay. Anything else that you can think of?
I mean,
I won't nail you, but that's a good one.
Yeah. I don't think of anything else that comes to mind. I'll let you know that if any quirks come up.
Okay. All right. If you could instantaneously master any skill, what would it be?
I would say a musical skill, either playing a musical instrument or singing.
Which one?
Musical instrument. I would love to master playing the guitar.
Do you know, I think it's really interesting that I don't know if anyone in all these podcasts has picked anything else except a musical instrument.
Oh, really? That's funny.
It's pretty remarkable. Like of all the things you could master in life, like no one wants to be like a black belt in karate or anything like that. Yeah. It's always been a musical instrument. It's interesting. Yeah. What's your go-to zone out activity? And don't tell me a 5-mile run because that's not fair. I need to hear. No, don't. You can't go there. Right, I need zone out.
Zone out. Yeah, normally it is run because I can turn my brain off for that. But otherwise, I would say probably TV. I love Bravo. And sometimes I just need to watch trash television to kind of be like, all right.
Give me one name
of
for a perfect clip for this.
I love Summer House. Have you watched Summer House on Bravo? It's so bad. It's so bad.
I'm on a 5-mile run.
there's a clip on Summer House where one of the main characters is like, summer should be fun, and he's like yelling this at his girlfriend at the time. And sometimes I'm like, oh God, I'm so tired. I'm like, wine should be fun, and that's kind of what I relate to.
That's great. That's great. Okay, dead or alive? Who do you have lunch with?
Oh, I would love to have lunch with Ina Garten.
Okay. I don't know who that is, so tell me more about this.
Oh, so she's on a lot of Food Network shows. She's the Barefoot Contessa. Sure. You know who she is. Yeah. She's wrote a book. Yeah. I read her book. She has really cool life experiences. I feel like I would love to be a guest on her Be My Guest series. So.
Oh, interesting.
So I want to get into the universe.
Okay. Okay, so if you have lunch, great lunch. Yep. Fantastic. You hit it off. Mm-hmm. But inevitably, the check comes. Okay. Who pays?
Ooh, I wouldn't mind paying. I don't mind paying. Ina takes her time to sit down with me. I'll pay. I'll make sure she orders some good wine.
Do you know what's interesting? There was only one guest who wanted to have lunch with a rock star. Okay. And he decided that they were going to pay.
It's hysterical. Well,
He was the only one. He was the only one. Oh, it's very funny. Okay. So money or meaning?
Oh, meaning. Do you want me to elaborate?
I feel like if you say money, it's a bad thing.
Well,
But go ahead. Yes, meaning.
I mean,
give it to me. Yes, meaning.
To be fair, money can buy a lot of things, but at the end of the day, and this goes back to when I was sitting on that beach, making sure no one from the public went on the private. People can have the most money in the world and still not be happy. And I feel like if you have meaning in life, and you'll be happy no matter what. Yeah.
All right. So then, so how do you do it? How do you find meaning?
Ooh. I mean, I find that most of it's in like the relationships you have, friends, family. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for family supporting in various ways. My parents did a great job raising us, and then friends that I can vent to all the time. My friends are very patient people. And so I feel like it's really those connections that kind of give meaning in life, you know?
Talk to me about the best vacation you ever took.
This summer, I finally went on my own. I went on a solo trip other than when I met the friend in Paris that called me out on my quirks. I did a wine trip. So I went to Champagne, the Loire Valley in Bordeaux, and then ended up in Paris meeting a friend. Cool. But it was just, there's something about traveling around. You wake up and like, all I had to do today is drink wine and eat croissants. And I think that was just kind of like the vacation I needed at the time.
Right, that's great. Besides that, what do you think made it why'd that one make it the best?
I mean, I'd visited wine regions I'd been dying to visit for a very long time. Champagne is, I hate saying, when people ask what my favorite wine is, I hate saying champagne because it sounds snobby. Yeah. So I always say sparkling wine. A cop-out. Sparkling wine and the champagne method. But yeah, I just visited regions that I'd always been dying to visit, learn more about wine, and really just kind of immerse myself. And I really don't take a lot of vacations or breaks. So it was one of those, like, I was gone for 10 days and
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, got out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Books or movies?
Books. Yeah.
Okay. Then we're going to start with movies.
Okay.
Which one do you think everyone needs to see?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, excellent. Look at that.
I love that movie.
Timely.
Yep.
Very timely.
Timely with the holidays.
Personally, I don't think you could ever not watch that movie. Yeah. Any time of the year. I think that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Great pick. Okay. So now we'll go back to books. Okay. Which book would you give as a gift?
I really loved Ina Garten's book. Because it's a memoir, interesting. But as far as a gift, to see again, that wouldn't be for like every foodie person. I do have a friend that just wrote a book, and it's called "I'll Have What Cheese Having," cheese, CHEESE. And it's a really fun, like rom-com cheese and wine pairing. That would be a very good gift because it's funny, it's silly. If you gift that with like a cheese and a wine, that's part of the pairing in the book. Right. I think you'd be good.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Perfect podcast guest.
Yep. Yeah.
Hint, hint.
Perfect. Yeah. I love it.
Okay. Favorite wine right now?
Ooh. I feel like I always say I'm a weather and a mood drinker. I always love, again, Champagne Chevauche. They make a lot. And I love a 100% Pinot Meunier champagne. A little harder to find, but they're always really fun and complex and different fruit flavors compared to other champagnes. Yeah.
All right, great. Excellent.
Yeah.
So,
okay, time for the bonus track.
A bonus track. Excellent. That is perfect, Alfonso. Erin, let's record a bonus track. So we started this episode with a track that we felt captures you, your nature, and your personality. And while we had a little break, you were able to listen to that, and I didn't go to jail for copyright infringement. So now your fans want a bonus track, a song you think best represents you.
Yep.
So Erin, lay it on us.
I know it's recent. It's Role Model is the name of the singer, and it's Sally When the Wine Runs Out.
So why does this song represent you right now? pretty obvious. But let's
well, we don't want the wine to run out, of course. No, I think I've brought this up before. I go with my gut feeling, and I feel like when I think of a good song, it has to have a good vibe to it, right? The beat, the lyrics are important, but the beat has to like have a good vibe. And I find that this song is just happiness all around. And my other favorite part of the song is that when they sing it on stage, Role Model and his band, they always bring up like a celebrity, random person from the audience to sing part of the song with him. And I find that is like kind of how I'm trying to do with wine, right? You kind of want to bring more people in, get more people engaged and involved. So I like love that aspect of the song.
Yeah, that's very cool and very Bruce Springsteen.
Yes. I mean, I love Bruce. So.
He brought didn't he bring Courtney
Cox?
Courtney Cox up. That's so interesting. Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, great song. So this is the section where I do a couple of fun facts, but it was not easy. So bear with me. So a couple of fun facts about your song. Cool. So the performer Role Model, his real name is Tucker Pillsbury.
Yep.
You may know that.
Oh, yeah.
And he was heavily inspired by Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
You know that too. Interesting. Yeah. So he would dress up like Elvis and perform in front of his family. That's my understanding. So Role Model went to, and I had to stretch here, so give me a break, all right? Role Model went to Cape Elizabeth High School in Maine. Mm-hmm. Which is an extremely wealthy area of Maine. And apparently they have their own person that kicks people out of the very expensive areas of the beach. So that's well, I don't know if that's true. I made that one up. Okay, so notable alumni is a gold medalist American distance runner. You ran cross country and track. Ben Brewster, a professional soccer player. You played soccer. And of course, Role Model is the other famous alumni, which is your pick for your bonus track.
Yeah.
It was not easy to find any fun facts on Role Model. So I did my best.
Yeah.
Well, Erin, what a perfect closing note for today's session. Big thanks to Erin Reddan, founder of ECR Vintners. Thank you for recording with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
If there's one thing that we could all share, regardless of background and profession, it's our shared love of music and making connections with great people like we did with Erin today. Until our next episode, I'm Jim Lombardo. This is The Sounds of Success, where we're unscripted, unfiltered, and unforgettable.